Siemens has been in the Siemens Mobility, where Siemens has been in the GCC area for quite a long time, Middle East and in Africa. For instance, in Egypt, we've been there for over 5 decades. I think in 1965, we installed the first signal link technology, so more than half a century. And we have been steadily growing with a lot of local footprint. We have now the first project ongoing, which is the first in the GCC area, the first cross-border project, a rail project between UAE and Oman. So we're growing steadily and we're bringing our technology into the country because we're very proud as Siemens that we're doing the high-speed rail. I mean, high-speed rail is definitely the cooperation between the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and Oman to connect the board, to make a border connection, a cross-border connection through rail. We're supplying there as Siemens the technology. So meaning everything on the track side, meaning ETCS or European Train Control System. Level 2, which is a fully automated train control system, will be deployed throughout the line in the UAE and in Oman, ending in the port of Sogar. So it's a very exciting project, and upon completion, it will be a very strategic project for both of the countries, and hopefully will be the first linkage of the GCC network running throughout the rest of the GCC countries. Very proud that in Egypt, high-speed rail project, will create over 40,000 local jobs in the big ecosystem directly and indirectly. So this is one of the most exciting projects that we have ongoing in the history of Siemens. This is truly transforming the nature of a country. 2,000 kilometers of high-speed rail, over 55 stations throughout from east to west and from north to south, connecting all the way to Abu Simbel, the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, and a lot of big population centers in Egypt are getting access to high-speed rail. We projected over 95% of the people ultimately will be close to have access to high-speed rail, which is a huge endeavor and will truly transform the nature of the country. We project that the GDP impact of having such a rail network will add over 2 billion in GDP to the Egyptian national economy, which is huge and truly offsets the investment. That being said, it is the 8.6 billion euro invested that we are putting together with our local partners and with the Egyptian government, also supported by the German state, which is very helpful. And currently, you asked where we are in the stage. I mean, I think the last couple of years, there's been tremendous progress, both on the infrastructure of the civil side, as well on the technology side. All the designs have been finalized. Most of the equipment is arriving in country. And a very exciting moment is going to be the Transmea event on the 9th of November, happening in Cairo at the conference center, where we showcase the first high-speed Velaro train. After we have implemented the project, we'll be in the top 10, the ranking of countries around the world in terms of the length of their high-speed rail network. It's a huge endeavor for you to. Obviously, as Siemens, we're very proud to contribute to that. And between the state of Egypt and Siemens, there's been a long history that transcended from energy to healthcare, and now it's mobility and transportation. I'm very much looking forward that the lines at one point in time will also be connected to neighboring countries, maybe to the east, maybe to the south, maybe into the GCC area. Will be very interesting endeavor. In terms of our portfolio, what is important to mention there is that it's not an easy feat to bring trains or rolling stock, whether it's a high-speed train or it's a locomotive, to bring them in desert conditions. Any proof for desert conditions, you have to accommodate for climate, you have to accommodate for sand, erosion, wind, dust, which is something that's not very easy. Not every company can do that. And we have done very expert studies and testing and commissioning. And I'm very proud that in Egypt now we have 3 of our train types for the Vectron, which is electric locomotive for freight rail. You have the Zero, which is a double-deck passenger commuter train, as well as the Velaro, which is a high-speed train. And that gives us tremendous opportunities from Europe for Egypt, but also throughout the GCC area. Because the biggest hurdle to take is to basically make them desert or climate proven and resistant. And that's a hurdle that we have already achieved. A lot of it is are people that are going to work within where substantial part is going to be people that are going to be working within Siemens. We do a lot of reach out to universities, to schools, to campuses to provide people with proper apprenticeships. Sometimes we offer them working in student contracts so they can work with us for part-time. They get to study in the university. While they finish the university, they already know how it is to work in Siemens corporate culture, and they can join. I'm very proud that actually the teams we're ramping up, not just in Egypt, throughout the Middle East, for the large majority consist of local talent that we develop along the way. That's been the DNA of Siemens like forever in the 175 plus years that we have been existing. And that's also what we do as Siemens Mobility here in the future. So, I mean, I'm very happy that you mentioned that because I think that Siemens Financial Services truly sets us apart in the market. Because we have such an in-depth of understanding of financing for this department within Siemens does. And it truly helps us bringing our projects forward. Because projects should not be held back in only the capital expense of the project. If you can provide a company or organized financing for a client, if they will be in need, or even structure a public-private partnership throughout the PPP. This happened in Egypt. Where there's we organized a banking consortium that to put together the complete facilities for Egypt, supported by the German government through an export finance credit assurance, which I think is a wonderful instrument. We deploy that throughout the region, also in other parts of the world. I think that sets us apart. We see now that PPP structures are coming into the GCC area. There's many ideas of PPPs being developed. Obviously, a VEV has to follow a certain structure for it to be successful and for it to bear fruit. Siemens Financial Services also helps us as the industry company in supporting that and structuring that. And sometimes we also take an equity stake, which I think makes us more powerful as a company because we can be low tenure special purpose company at the facility side as at the industry side. So I'm very happy that we are working together very closely with our Siemens Financial Services WAGs. What there is no lack of in the GCC area is vision. Every country has a vision for rail, and I think it's extremely important because if you do not have a vision where you want to be in 5 years or in 10 years time, then things do not start moving down. And even between, I think it's an extremely important facet that the GCC area already has. On top of that, I think it's important that there's clear priorities that which projects are going to happen now, which projects need to happen now, what is the timeline in which a project needs to happen, and then execute it. I think we see extremely good examples throughout the countries where this is happening. We mentioned the cross-border connection between UAE and Oman. It is a vision put into implementation and execution. We see the example of the high-speed rail in Egypt. It's a vision into implementation and currently in execution. And then you can yield the results. I think this is an example that we can follow more, and hopefully more countries that are currently considering rail as a long-term objective can maybe the short-term objective and prioritize their investments towards that direction. As Siemens, we lead through technology, we lead through innovation. We have a responsibility towards our shareholders. We have a responsibility towards our people. We have a responsibility towards our client and passengers. So we always welcome the competition because ultimately it brings the best possible experience for passengers and for our clients. That being said, we are industry leader in our investments in R&D and in research and development to bring the best technology out there to the market. That is recognized by our clients. They continue to buy our products, they continue to buy our systems, they continue to count on us when it's about service and operation. I think this reputation plus the leading edge investment we do as part of our total revenue, we invest a huge amount in R&D, and that brings forward prime or flagship technologies like the Velara Novo that we're exhibiting on the booth here, which is a new generation high-speed train, reaches 360 kilometers per hour, has tremendous savings on the energy, so more than 30% energy savings, and is a completely rethought and reimagined high-speed train with an empty tube concept where every client can configure the layout of the train internally for seats, listed seats, different lounges in its own way, which was not possible before, or is not possible with any of the high-speed trains on the market right now. It's flat entrance. You can move from the station immediately into the train without the barrier. I think this is an extremely good example of where we're leading the competition through technology and innovation.